Hillary?
Yes.
It is the podcast. Oh, we got that deep voice again. Okay.
It is a podcast.
So this is the 253rd episode, I think.
253. But welcome to the Baking It Down with Sugar Cookie Marketing Podcast. We're actually a spinoff from a group that's on Facebook, 50,000, exactly, 50,000 users strong. We are adding people all the time, but we are also removing inactive members. The group has been around for 6 years. People have come and gone. The industry as a whole, the baking industry, is very, what is the word I'm looking for when you turn over? Big turnover. There's a fancier word.
The turning and burning, bag and tag.
So as people come and go and people, leave the industry, they don't necessarily leave all the groups, and we're just helping them on their way. But if you're in there and you're active, you are good to go. This is just a little piece of the group that you can use during the week to listen to, because I like to listen to podcasts. And sometimes you're just elbows deep, fingers are sticky with butter, and you want something to listen to, and you can't necessarily access the group because you're busy with your Easter orders. And that's where this little podcast comes on.
And if you're not busy with Easter orders because you didn't get any, this would be the podcast to listen to. But before we jump in there, you guys can get a lot of the resources that we talk about, what's coming, what's going on the website, sugarcookiemarketing.com. And then what's coming is Pipe Apart Collab. We just wrapped up the AI, oh my, cookie
that was so entertaining for me. People did so well. And I wondered how they were going to do it. I didn't see one printed one, I don't believe.
I don't think you even printed one, and you were going to.
No, I did. I ran out of time. So I saw so many piped bunnies.
Control P?
Yeah, I know. I couldn't. But it was so entertaining. And what it is our collabs are more marketing focused, meaning that while you do get engagement and there's a bump in your social media and you get a lot of comments, you can actually use this stuff as marketing material from here on forth. This one being AI is now being shoved down everybody's throats. Whether you use it as a baker or not, your clients just might. So a lot of times clients are now sending AI generated images. I just got one last week for an order this week.
What?
Chickens, they're little baby chick eggs, but they all have just one feather.
I didn't wait to see what it looks like.
I could tell she's just saying, like, here it is, but it's so funny because they're just sending it. They don't know. And a lot of users are uploading AI images to Pinterest. So clients aren't even using AI. They're just stumbling upon this inspiration photo and sending it. So it was a great way that you can show your clients what you can and can't do when it comes to an AI generated image. As far as shadowing goes, sometimes the details are almost 3D coming off the cookie.
Which is what we kind of made with the bunny. He was advanced levitation. But that was the point, is that
his bow, I had to do a transfer because it was definitely flowing off of his ear.
Yeah. So we had a bunch of bakers take this image, AI generated image of an Easter bunny cookie. It was AI generated to look like a cookie, and recreate it within their own skill set. It was wildly entertaining. Everyone did a really good job. And I didn't think there was a ton of pushback. Here's what my thought was looking through everyone and engaging, because also when you take part in a collab, you get a lot of engagement. Is that if you as a baker had the option to get an AI generated image of an egg with a single feather out of it, or nothing, a description of that, which one would you rather?
I'm a visual learner, and I need to see.
It still bridges the gap. I know some people are punching the air, but I would rather have the tool than not have the tool. Also, I made an Amazon return yesterday. And AI was talking to me. Like, there was no, like, I know everyone's like, I don't use it, I disable it. I don't think you can return on Amazon now without chatting with it.
Oh, that's so, yeah. So it's everywhere. It's in my Gmail. It's in my email. It seems to be on Canva now, has an AI feature. So it's all around us. So saying I'll never use it, your clients are using it. And that's what the point behind this collab. The point behind the Pipe Apart collab is tying you to your location and becoming a resource to your audience, so you're not just selling at them constantly. If you feel like you have crickets on social media, I promise you it's because there's not a conversation happening. You're talking at them, not with them. So becoming a resource.
Posting endless cookies I think you feel long in the tooth posting it, and I think your audience feels long in the tooth reading it.
Yeah, yeah. So this is a way to help your social media. Granted, one is not going to be the thing that turns the ship around, but it's a one in the right direction. So you can take the ideas from this type of park, maybe do a restaurant review, maybe do the Main Street collab in the next one that we do. And that's a way to create a conversation on social media.
Also, a great excuse. If you're like, well, that's a large departure from my loved baking for Jason's first birthday approach to social media. These collabs are a great excuse to say, like, hey, this wasn't my idea. The twins made me do it. Right. So
Yeah.
in the copy, we always make sugar cookie marketing the fall guy, kind of explain to your audience what the collab is. And then what you're going to see is that your audience is going to be like, oh, I know that park. I love that park. Have you gone to this park? Parks, parks, parks. Because we
Yeah.
all love to see what we already know. And for the people who don't know about it, me, I just moved to a new area. I love seeing what people recommend. I am looking for recommendations.
Yeah. Especially when someone's been there, done that. Like you are at the park letting me know about the park or the restaurant.
Were
I
you doing
feel
Sylvania Park? Sylvania State Park? Are you?
I was thinking Leesylvania just had an
I
update, but now you
saw
have to make
that.
reservations
But only
for
on the
the
weekends. But
yeah, on the weekends.
very
So
place,
that'd
still
be a
right
good
there.
one to add to the update because it's not ever had that for a long time.
That would be good, but we could walk Work Lake together.
I
Fun.
do like Burke Lake, and Burke Lake is free to non-Fairfax County members on the weekdays.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah, I did. I did. I walked in and I went there, and they're like on the holidays and weekends, it's paid. On
Yeah.
weekdays, free for all.
I still have my own driver's license. I can get in whenever I want.
Oh, yeah, you're right. You have to
And
pay too.
the next thing coming is a pre-sales boot camp next week, and I'll talk about that in a minute. My quote of the podcast, my quote of the week. You guys take this with you all week. It
Yeah.
says, "Never let your weaknesses blind you to your strengths, and never let your strengths blind you to your weaknesses." Author it now.
Oof. Oof. That's a good one.
Which I think we'd be
Good.
like, I'm the best at this, but you didn't realize that thing coming up behind you actually dethroned your best stat because it was your
I
weakness that you
know.
did not see coming. I think sometimes we could be, and we'll talk about that in today's podcast, we can be really proud of our strengths, but that doesn't negate that the weakness still lives there, lurking in the back, forever ready to jump us.
Yeah, that's a cake pop behind me. My weakness.
Apparently, I think you had asked what's
I
something you'd
did.
never bake again. And it was an
It was a
overwhelming
collection of
of cake pops.
yeah, cake
You could
pops.
just like the comment. Would have gotten
We've been harassed and villainized by cake pops, all of us, which is good to know.
Please raise your hand if you have been villainized by Cake Pop. Okay, today's topic is based out of a comment I saw made on the sugar cookie marketing page when I asked about Easter sales. And we're 2 weeks out from Easter, which is falling almost 15 days earlier than it was last year. I did look it up. Last year it was the 20th of April. This year it is the 5th. And from a marketing standpoint, I dislike when the holidays fall earlier than the month, then later. So think of the baker's three biggest Super Bowls. It is Halloween, it is Thanksgiving, and it is Christmas. Christmas by a long shot. Christmas just outshines everything. Those holidays are so amazing because they fall in the last week or the last day of the month. October
Yeah,
31st. I think it'll be November 26th this year, and then December 24th,
25th.
right? 25th.
25th.
Fourth is I'm sorry, that is all Christmas in my head. The fourth,
It
the
is.
fifth,
It
and the
really
sixth.
is.
The 26th.
Pickups are on the 24th. You're correct.
Right. So those are amazing because our audience, from a marketing perspective, we lock in. The month of October is Halloween. The month of November is
Yeah.
Thanksgiving. And the month of December is Christmas. When we have holidays like Valentine's Day falls halfway through the month. And what people say is January, my audience is trying to recover from Christmas calories and spending. They're not thinking in January of February sales. At least it falls on the 14th, though. So we kind of lock in as bakers on February 1st to promote a February 14th day, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so does Wegmans, so do the grocery stores, so did the Target and whatever, the promotional schedules of a lot of major companies that are signaling to our audience, don't forget your cookies. When Easter shifts around like this, which is a violent shift to me, that to go from the 20th to the 5th,
I know.
to fall at the end of the month to the beginning, I think it does put a different spin on sales.
It
Because right
does. And
now I'm not thinking about Easter in March. I know it's an April holiday, but now I'm like, oh, I have 4 days leading
oh,
up to the
yeah.
5th.
Well, it
Right.
was so funny. I posted an egg cited for Easter egg, and someone says it's only March. But I said, you haven't looked. It's only 5 days into April. It is Easter. And he's like, oh my goodness, I didn't even know
And
that.
you can't even blame them because last year it was the 20th. Last year we were
I
well into
know.
April. It was warm outside. Now it's pretty still. I'm so sorry. I'm cold right now. It's pretty cold outside. It was 88 degrees on Sunday.
On Sunday, it's 37 right now, if you'd
Yeah.
like to know.
So even if the spring has not sprung because of that snowcrete issue earlier, it's even colder. The trees are behind in their bloom schedule or whatever. So it is hard to say Easter flowers.
It is.
What are your
It is.
Easter stuff? So when somebody said in that question I asked, they said, my sales are low and I don't understand why. It sucks when the sales are low. It sucks twice as hard when you don't understand why. I'm doing all the things
Sure.
and nothing's working. So the blessed thing I can give you is I'm doing all the things and nothing's working. There's a way to figure out what that thing is that actually isn't working. So you are doing the things, but something of those things isn't landing, or it's not working the way, or it's taking more effort than something that would actually move the number. And that is where a SWOT analysis comes into play. If you have taken any business courses ever in high school or college, you have heard this acronym. And I think it's one of those pervasive methods because it works so well.
Yeah.
And let's talk about what SWOT stands for. Corey, can you remember?
No, I cannot.
S.
Sorry,
No, you're looking.
Wednesday. Oh, strength,
K,
weakness.
K, O.
Hold on.
Okay.
Outstanding.
Uh,
Okay.
no. O is you kind of think what we're doing here. We're doing
Okay.
enough. If I am a business owner and I have strengths, weaknesses, I have things I can do that I haven't
And
done before. They are,
opportunities,
and then I have bad things that are coming to get me that start with a T.
transactions.
Also, that could be also one of the keys, but it's a threat. And a transaction could be a threat. So we have strength, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And what a SWOT analysis does is creates those four quadrants and you fill them out to kind of see what's working, what you know isn't working, your weakness, what could be working, your opportunity, and what's happening in the larger sphere thing that could threaten the business model, right?
Yeah.
And this bird's eye view of your business kind of takes you out from the trenches of I'm posting Easter cookies and nothing selling to I'm not able to sell cookies. Why? Right? Or my sales are dripping. So let's go take the SWOT. So the SWOT analysis, that was a broad business application and apply it to bakers. So a baker's strength could be I have low overhead costs. That's the magic of cottage bakery is no lease agreements, right?
Yeah.
And then you say, let's say I have this great recipe. It's my secret family recipe. That is my strength. Nobody else has this recipe. Those are really awesome strengths, right? So you'd be like, that's my thing. So Corey, I'm going to put you through the ringer here. What's a strength currently in your business?
My strength is being organized right now,
Okay,
which is
great.
the first time ever.
I have seen you really getting into technology in terms of an assist of spreadsheets, forms, and really having some automation in there.
Yes.
So
Yeah, it
Corey
really
says,
is
my
help.
strength in my business is I'm implementing automation. That is great, right? Because what you can say is when I implement automation, I lower my time cost of things. I'm more
Mhm.
efficient. Fewer things are being forgotten, which means fewer refunds, right?
Yeah.
Love that. Now, in weaknesses, an example for bakers would be I have a very small oven. That is a reality of baking that commercial commercial space can output a lot more product just for the fact that they have it. And you can kind of see it when a baker has a KitchenAid mixer versus a Bosch. Just the
Yeah.
production volume increases. When a baker has that extra freezer in the basement versus not, where
Yeah.
they can stack the
Yeah.
dough.
Been there, done
So
that.
like limited oven space, but another weakness could be I am the lowest price baker and I risk burnout.
Yes.
So you could say that
Yeah.
would be my weakness. If that's something that you find is an issue, you could be the lowest price baker and having the time of your life, but only you.
If you're doing this for the joy of the game, you're having a blast.
Yeah, I just love working for free. But that could be your weakness. So you're going to say, what are the weaknesses? So Corey, in your business, what are your weaknesses?
I think
One
my
thing I'll say
week.
about Corey, and I'm going to actually put this under threats, but I want to put a weakness is that Virginia cottage laws don't allow the transfer of money online. I
Yeah.
think that creates a massive weakness in non-payment at time of pickup. We always say don't do payment at time of pickup, but you're facing that somebody's like, oh, I forgot.
I know. But my biggest thing that I've learned over the years is setting expectations. So listen, you're not going to get these cookies until I get the payment. And then I check with them a week early because I want you to be in it to win it as much as I'm in it to win it. Because if I'm baking for you, I need you to be there to pick these up. So I've gotten pretty good at nailing that down where, chasing payment isn't as hard as it once was. So while it was a weakness, I have squuntled it over to my strengths because now I know how to handle it.
Squunchled is a made up word, I believe. I
It
would go
is a
squunchled.
squunch.
I know what you mean. You took something small and squished it over to a new place. It
I
squunched it.
did.
But I
I
think it's one of those
squanched.
ones like scooch, I think might be a real world
I
word,
scooched it over.
but
A
pletch isn't a
squanch.
real word.
It's a squanch is between a clutch and a scoot. It's a squanch.
Here's the thing. Scooch is a word normal
It
people use.
is. It
Pletch
is.
is not. That was a word mom made up
That's so
when
funny because it's so embedded. Like, stop pletching with that. It makes sense in a sentence.
is pletch a word. I
If
think I
I
already
said
Googled
stop
this.
pletching with that, everyone knows stop playing with that.
How do you spell pletch? And that'll tell you.
P-L-U-T-C-H,
I was going to ask,
pletch.
is pletch a word? No. Oh,
Oh,
pletch.
it's
No,
pletch.
Urban Dictionary pulled up and it has it's a child's poop, but I've never heard that in my life. That's
Oh,
Urban Dictionary, and somebody just typed it. But a pledge, like my mom would say, like if we were eating, I don't know why applesauce comes to mind, maybe because I don't like it. If you were eating applesauce, but you weren't eating it, you were just moving it around in your bowl, she would say, stop pledging with that. It means you don't want it. You're just moving it around.
yes.
So
Yeah,
pledge is good.
pletching. But yeah.
So back to the podcast. Stop pledging. So Corey said her strengths. I feel like my strengths is my automation and my efficiency, technology incorporated in business. And her weakness is
My weakness is getting overwhelmed with the orders that I forget about other things like social media. And then I feel reactive to social media instead of proactive towards
so
it.
let's just say your weakness is time management and social media marketing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Now we can move on to opportunities. So an opportunity in like a regular business is, like we can invent this new product, but an opportunity for a baker could be like a local farmer's market is opening up, or they're starting to sell this machine that does this thing, right? So you have these opportunities, which you could say is a local farmer market's opening up, and I have an Eddie, so I could do a direct to print at the farmer's market, right? Or a market's opening up, and I'm the first baker to them. I found them first, right?
I guess if you take my weakness and my opportunity there's Facebook planners. So I could pre-plan my weekly post to take it out of my weakness and make it more of a strong suit. So my opportunity would be utilizing things that are there to make my business run more efficient.
So that's the correct use of a SWOT analysis to see what's in the weaknesses and how to get them to the strengths. The opportunities aren't involved in anything you're currently doing. So you look outwards of yourself and say,
Interesting.
possibly an opportunity would be joining these cookie collabs that the Sugar Cookie Marketing Group is putting on because it could increase engagement. Something I'm not doing, but I see it's there, right? So an
Okay.
opportunity is I'm going to buy an Eddie and be the first baker who does corporate orders, or I'm going to buy an Eddie and I'm going to I see an opportunity with the wedding market. I have a really strong wedding market. We have a lot of venues or something in our area, and I think that would be a great opportunity to meet for me, right?
Yeah.
So you can see that kind of the strengths, weakness, and opportunities are unrelated, but we are going to marry them in a later step. But the SWOT analysis is like just get on paper what you know, what you're great at, what you know you have a weak spot with, what you could do. And now threats are things like rising prices. Right. So we're strength, weakness, opportunities, threats are things out of control. So the rising price of flour. Remember when eggs increased in price?
Yeah.
That was a big
If
threat to the bottom line.
if you're a baker who delivers, the rising gas prices is going to affect how much that cost.
Right. Economic fluctuations. Are people in my economy spending less? Is there, less cost for expenditures like something like custom cookies?
Would
You
another threat be a new baker opened up shop down the road?
In my reading of this, it's not necessarily looking over at somebody else and what they're doing. I think that's kind of the blind spot because you're being led by the blind, right? So we don't know what that baker's numbers look like. We don't really know. We can say that the threat is competition, but I
Okay.
wouldn't name like Corey is my threat. Let me see exactly what she's doing because now the SWOT analysis is based off of somebody else,
And we
right?
don't know their information to
Right.
even be able to change.
If you're only taking 2 orders a month, my SWOT analysis of you isn't great. You might be really, really good, but if you're only taking 2 orders, you're not necessarily competition with
True.
market share. You might be in competition in skill. Um, but yeah, you could say a threat is I see a lot of my customers are asking for lettering. That would be back to the weakness. A lot of my customers are asking for lettering, and I don't know how to letter.
Yeah.
A new county health code comes out. That would be a threat to your business model.
Yes.
So let's say that, I see it happen a lot. The farm stands, like you know, drive up, get your cookies
Yes.
and leave them. All of a sudden now they can't be unmanned anymore.
Yeah, whether they have income caps that have transitioned because
Great
of,
one.
the Department of Agriculture has stepped in. Those are things that I see often.
I think Maryland passed a law and it really affected bagged icing in DIY kits or something.
Yeah, it
That
couldn't
would be
be
a threat.
pre-bagged.
Yeah. So the pre-bag thing would be an issue because that could affect even teaching cookie classes or things like that, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, we have the strength, weaknesses, opportunities, but you're kind of looking more intrinsically. Corey said when she said her strength, she didn't say I'm better than anybody else. And when she said her weaknesses, she didn't say anybody else is better than me, right? So she said my weakness is I take on too many orders and my social media falls to the wayside. For strengths, you said you're using automation to increase efficiency. So we kind of we know those things that we can control. Again, I hate blaming external forces. We are in the threat thing because it's an economic outlook, right? But I hate blaming like the market saturated because then don't do the SWOT analysis. We have to wait for that
Yes.
person to pass away before the market, or we have to wait for them to get burnt out, whatever. We're waiting years when we don't have years to wait.
And you'll never rid your market of a new baker who graduates elementary, now high school, and decides to do this on. You'll never have a saturated free market. You won't ever be the only baker.
If you are the only baker, I fear for your business because something about the industry where you're located is not sustaining competition. Competition is always healthy, right? So when
Yeah.
there's more competition, that means there was more people willing to spend money to support the competition. When you're the only one, you may live in a very low cost of living area or a rural area that the population is decreasing, which becomes a threat.
And I
People
want to
are
say there.
literally leaving.
Yeah, there's bakers, and I want to say maybe in Spain or something where royal icing isn't common at all, and they are the only baker, and it's because people don't understand, like the taste, know what royal icing is, so that's why they're the only one because their market share doesn't even know it
But
exists.
we would be like, but wow, you're the only one. You can name your price. Incorrect because they are the only one. There's a reason they're only one. Like Corey said,
Yeah,
people in Spain might not like the taste. I know there's that meringue powder, depending on where you can even source ingredients and stuff like that. So you may be the only one, but for a great example, I have that old antique car, right? It's American made, which is why it's always falling apart. But a few people in Europe will import them, and they'll be the to see a 30-year-old American antique in Europe.
it's just
They're like a
probably,
superstar, right? But
yeah,
that's while that's awesome, the price to get parts for them and source parts overseas, it's triple or quadruple the cost for me because so you can say, wow, you're the only one, but
yeah,
at what cost?
yes,
So, so that's why I don't necessarily like to have the SWOT analysis look at competition. I would use that more as an inspiration to be like, oh, I really like what they're doing there. Let me incorporate that. But I would look intrinsically at what I'm doing. Because remember, the question is, I'm doing everything and nothing's working.
yeah,
We can't say Corey's doing everything, but nothing's working for me. That'd be pointless, right? So when
yeah,
we do this SWOT analysis, we're not going to write any place about competition. Competition is supporting the market. We are also competition.
yeah,
We are a part of the competition. It's like yelling at traffic when you're in
yeah. Why is
it.
there so many people on the
You're
road?
right.
Making
Only
fun of
I'm
us.
allowed to be here. So, strength and weaknesses are things that you can control inside your kitchen, and opportunities and threats are things that are happening in the world around you outside of the kitchen. That's a great way to kind of do it. So, opportunities are a new farmer's market, a possible brick and mortar, or I could do this farm stand thing, or maybe, blah, blah. I see a lot of, I think it's a season of vendor events.
Yes.
I don't want to be in vendor events, but it'd be really cool if I had a trailer, a cookie trailer, things like that,
I
right?
know.
So,
I got an email from a PTA said they would like to partner and order cookies ever so often. Thank you, printed cookies, which I thought was that she knew what that is. I mean, she's not new to this world of baking, so that's
mhm.
an opportunity.
Right, great. And then your threats would be things around that. Like if okay, I do want to get a trailer, a cookie trailer, but now I'd have to buy a truck with a towing capacity and the interest rates if I'm financing the truck are high and then gas prices are higher, right? So it's things that are outside of our control that are affecting our business. That's be
Yeah.
threats and opportunities. So point three, now we need to conduct it. So we kind of understand, what the acronym stands for, how to categorize things, what to look for, and now we need to conduct the analysis. Look at your face.
Analysis paralysis.
So ask yourself, every SWOT analysis should come with an objective. Otherwise, it's kind of like just a mental mind game, I guess. So,
Yeah.
okay, back to the comment someone made. I cannot move my Easter cookies. My sales for Easter are lower this year than they were last year. Lunch woke up.
Okay.
So I would, or things like this. My objective of the SWOT analysis, can I quit my 9 to 5 job?
Okay.
Then now you see how the objective kind of controls what we're looking at in terms of these 4 categories.
Yeah.
So, can I quit my 9 to 5? What are my financial strengths? What are my financial weaknesses? Do I carry a lot of debt? Do I lack a savings and emergency fund? You can kind of see how the objective of this specific SWOT analysis. I got to kick the cat out in 2 seconds. I just put him in the garage.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll talk to you about my Twinterest a little early since you guys are listening. I've been in a pumpkin spice kind of mood. I miss fall and I'm grateful for summer because without summer, I can't miss fall. But my husband says, why wait till fall to bake all the fall things? So I've been in a pumpkin spice baking mood and it tastes delicious. Okay, back to SWAT.
We'll get back to her bread. She's been talking about it endlessly. Okay, another question you could say, another objective. I'm running this SWOT analysis so that I can see if I could expand into a brick and mortar. If that's a goal that you have, you'd want to conduct a SWOT analysis to see what are the strengths I have that support this? What are the weaknesses I have that actually detract from this? What are the opportunities? Well, Main Street, I just saw this business close up shop. And what are the threats? Oh, I think there's a lot of red tape and taxes moving into Main Street, right?
Yes.
And another example, these are just examples so you guys can get some inspo and take it back to the Kitchioni is, are my sales, my objective, understanding why my sales are dropping month over month, right? And you
Yes.
can look at outside conditions as competition as a whole, but I just wouldn't put the name on competition and be like, it's Corey specifically that's ruining my life. How do we cover?
How many times am I appearing on someone's SWOT analysis? I want you to confess.
Just think about entering, sometimes I think when we start looking at it through our own lens, we get a little confused. Imagine that you own a clothing store and you want to move into our favorite mall, Tyson's. Well, there's
Okay.
a million clothing stores. So my strength is I'm doing athleisure of high quality materials. But my
Okay.
weakness is there's a lot of
Other
cost.
athleisure. Yeah.
Right. So let's go to the weaknesses internally, right? My high-end athleisure wear also requires a high production cost because the materials are more expensive.
Okay.
Also, I'm doing, Corey and I were talking about the new thing in athleisure is these fits where everything matches in color.
Yes.
And the
Matching
colors are
stuff.
like punchy, right? They're not like I couldn't wear what one set with another. It would be so
It would be
crazy.
clashing.
Yeah, and I
How
get
dare you?
why they do that. That would be a strength is when you create these drops, you create like a FOMO, like we're only running this for a certain amount of time,
Yeah.
and that's when they do the collaborations. I think they did one with an
But if you
Olympic.
don't sell out, now you have bright pink tops with dark blue pants.
Absolutely. So that would be the weaknesses. So that's what this final component of a SWOT analysis is. It says, look at the strengths and opportunities as together, right? So an example was I have a great recipe strength and the locals farmers markets just opened. So I could be that baker with that, great recipe. That's a strength, my recipe, and an opportunity, the
Yeah.
new farmers market. So I can marry those together. So I'm connecting my strengths and opportunities, and then I'm going to connect my weaknesses and my threats. So if you minimize your weakness, you can avoid threats. So an example of that would be I'm slow at packaging. Like I'm,
Okay.
I'm slow at that, or it's high cost, and a high volume competitor moved in, right? So I'm
Yes.
slow, they're fast. So I'm going to do a pre-labeled box system to speed up turnaround, right? So my
Yeah.
weakness, I'm slow at packaging, or I'm slow my photography. My threat is this. Okay, another baker takes better photos, right? Corey takes better photos. So, or something like that, whatever. Or I have a lower priced competitor there. So you can say, okay, my weakness is my packaging looks ugly and my threat is this baker's lower priced. If I increase the quality of my packaging, I don't have to explain why I'm higher priced. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
Marrying these two kind of comes up with the strategy for you.
Can we go through the SWOT analysis, taking that how many people said their Easter pre-sales were low?
Okay,
Can we
so
SWOTy that one?
can you be an example, even if you have to make up some examples?
Sure.
Okay. So your weakness, I'm sorry, our SWOT objective is my Easter sales are low
Yes.
this year. So what would you say as a baker is your strength?
My,
When it
can I say
comes
my,
to Easter,
okay. My
let's narrow it down.
strengths were I was able to market on time. I wasn't late. I wasn't early. I was on time for it. Granted, St. Patrick's Day was now very close to Easter. So the people who typically order for pre-sales just ordered for St. Patrick's Day didn't necessarily also order for Easter because they were so stinking close.
So let's put the strengths is you had great time management. You have great time management. But let's put the threat as close by holidays,
Okay, sure. I
taking
like
from
that.
market share, right?
Like
So
it.
now of your Easter sales, what do you feel like your weaknesses? And that's the areas where your business could improve or it lacks resources. What was a weakness around Easter?
I feel like my options were a little weak. I wasn't excited about them myself. So how could I expect someone else to be excited about them?
Why did you choose options that weren't exciting to you?
Did feel pressure to get it launched on time, which now rushed my thought process of planning.
So then I'm going to say your strength of time management. We're gonna dock him on his pay because he wasn't exactly your time wasn't fully managed if you felt rushed.
Yeah, so I did get it out on time at the expense of the designs weren't my favorite.
Okay, so maybe next time we need to build in more time for the designs that could be your favorite, so that you're excited, so that your audience is excited, right? So we can
I
see that we
agree.
can fix that weakness by building in more time into your strength.
Okay.
Okay. Now, what opportunities, these are not within your kitchen, these are external to your kitchen. What opportunities did you notice this year? Again, we're working towards next year. So this is SWOT analysis for
Sure.
next year. So
Sure.
what were the opportunities you saw around these Easter pre-sales?
Okay, an opportunity, hindsight 2020,
Yeah.
having my Easter class a tinge bit earlier would have allowed me to upsell my pre-sale to the class.
Okay.
Unfortunately, the class is the day before Easter, so I didn't get that opportunity.
Okay, so an opportunity next year is teaching more classes earlier.
Yes.
Hopefully, I'm going to say the threat, the thing that we couldn't handle is the shifting of the day that Easter falls on. That's
Yeah.
just how Easter works. It's an unfortunate side effect of when they pick that like first Thursday after lunar
Yeah.
new, whatever those,
Yeah.
those little spacey ones are. So her strength was I was on time, but the weakness is I wish I was earlier.
I wish it was earlier with better designs. So
With
now I
better
do
design.
see what I can work on.
Okay, your opportunity next year is have better designs and have more cookie classes leading up to Easter so that there can be some cross pollination there.
Yes, yes. I want to say for the people who are saying like they didn't get a lot of Easter orders this year, a big thing to remember is the algorithms are always changing. Just because you posted last year 2 weeks before Easter doesn't mean it's going to perform the same way this year. I will say the one thing I'm going to give myself kudos for is this year I've been trying to build relationships with my social media, not necessarily just so I can trick the algos, but that I can create a better relationship with my clients. So I'm top of mind when someone asks who's selling Easter, blah, blah, blah.
I do
So
think knowing who runs businesses does make me have more of an affinity. My parents went to a restaurant in Charlestown, South Carolina, and
Charleston, South
Charleston.
Carolina.
There's a lot of Charles and there are a lot of towns and tons.
Yeah, there
And
is.
there's a
There
lot
is.
of Carolinas. So it's hard to remember. They went to a restaurant and they said it was their anniversary. So the owner comes out and just makes a big hoop to do, thanking him for being there. I think he comped him on champagne or something, right? Just a
Yeah.
glass to celebrate. And they're telling Ashley, my older sister, the story, who also likes to go to this area and had been to this restaurant. And she said, it's so funny. We went for non-anniversary things. He does the same thing. He actually does it for everybody who comes in. If it's your first time, he comes in and makes a big hoop to do, and you feel like a little prize pony and you love it, right?
Yeah.
So Corey's saying, I'm trying to be that. I want people to know who I am because you feel more connected to a business when you know who runs it.
Yeah, sure. And I've been able to do that. I know people who are listening are like, well, Cora must have nailed her Easter presales. Here's my thing. The reason why I did well on Easter presales is because I never offer Easter presales. If you asked what my presales were to this one last year, it's 100%
100%
because
agree.
I'm coming from zero.
Right.
So it's not necessarily your wins, I want to say making a sale is great. And for you to hold yourself to variables of last year that are not the same is going to put you in a bad mood.
To compare last year, let's say you've run Easter pre-sales year over year. Well, this year there's a war that's just started, which put economic pressure and the market's, reacting towards that pressure.
hmm
That would affect people's expenditures toward, I don't want to call it superfluous, but that
Extra, extras.
extra fund, my budget to spend on me or for extravagant gifts.
And you'd also have to go back to a year to compare to where Easter also fell really at the beginning of the month. Last year, it fell at the latest it could possibly be. We had all of April to really get it going. The spring had sprung. We were no longer dealing with snow. People's mindsets were different because we were thinking springy kind of things.
Right. And here's wild. When do you think Easter is next year?
I have not a clue.
It is in March.
Are
March
you
28th.
kidding me?
Uh-uh.
Well, then I'll be skipping St. Patrick's Day.
And then in 2028, it goes back to the middle to end of April, April 16th.
Yeah, I think Easter does well so often for people that, Valentine's Day, I want to say it's next to Christmas. I know Heather had said, we have, October, November, December, but Valentine's Day is up there right under Christmas as far as making sales because people are buying externally. And you have to think, and this is what we cover in this boot camp that we'll be doing this coming up in the next 2 weeks is people who buy pre-sales are external. They're givers. So if they've just externalized something, whether for be St. Patrick's Day, you got to say their budget, it can only go so far.
Right. So we have Corey saying economic forces, my first year doing Easter. So I'm looking at Easter pre-sales next year. My weaknesses are my designs, but my strengths was my timing. However, my opportunity is more cookie classes earlier to cross-pollinate that. The threat there, I would say, in this year is the economy. It
hmm
was just poorly timed. And I would say the other threat is this moving date that
Is
Easter
the
falls
movie
on.
day.
So
Yes,
now
I
she can look at
agree.
that SWOT analysis and say next year. So she didn't do pre-sales last year on Easter. She did pre-sales this year. Next year we have a better strategy for Easter pre-sales. She's going to come up with the designs earlier. So if she looks at her schedule, I would add 2 weeks more to that planning. Whenever you start planning, I would add 2 weeks to it to
Yeah.
understand what the best sellers are, what's trending. It might be cherries again. Cherries is everywhere this year. Cherries
Yeah.
and strawberries, small berries, 2026. So she's like, I'm going to have more exciting options, and maybe you might mix up the types of options. I think you had a lot of single cookies.
Because this is my first year of pre-sales, I'm really trying to get to know what my audience likes and does not like. So I'm testing it each and every time. So cookie cards, those little minis attached to a cookie card, did fairly well for St. Patrick's Day. You'll never guess they did well for Easter as well.
I think you were actually surprised by your bestseller of these Easter pre-sales. The one that sold out was the one you predicted wouldn't.
Yeah, there was a cross. So you think religious, a religious sector that makes your audience even smaller, but that's the first thing that sold out. And then someone went behind the order form and said, "Do you mind making some extras? I know you're sold out, but
So the SWOT analysis where Corey's like, well, I'm going to this year, not lean into the religious aspect. Next year, having done the SWOT analysis, she said I'm going to add 3 more options that
yeah."
have a
hmm
religious connotation to them. So, and then the threats, like who knows where we'll be next year. I think we'll always have threats. I don't think at any point you could do a SWOT analysis and not find a threat and not be lying to yourself. There's always something that's going to put pressure on your business, and we
Yeah.
got to keep our eyes out there scanning for it.
Yeah. Yeah, whether it be the weather, I know someone just got 2 feet of snow last week.
Yeah.
That plays a big factor in it. The algorithms always are going to play a factor because they're always changing. You yourself are always changing, as you ebb and flow through business. If you take breaks, it's something I asked today in the Sugar Cookie Marketing Group, who's taking a break in their business? So many are taking breaks right now. They're in the break. So you have a lot of things that will always be happening to your business. I wish we could live in a world where nothing is happening to our business and it's just thriving. It's just not the case.
No, so a SWOT analysis will help you. And then so Corey can say, okay, what was her strength and an opportunity? A strength was her skill. I'm sorry, her timing, she said, but the opportunity is now doing it earlier and offering more sugar cookie classes, which would increase her bottom line, but also increase her pre-sales because she can cross promote those.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's how marrying the SWOT analysis start it with finding the objective. So we're going to run a SWOT analysis. What's my objective? What I'm trying to understand about my business or my market or my numbers, right?
Mm-hmm,
Then we're going to go
mm-hmm.
through this listing what your strengths are in relation to that objective. So Corey said, I was early to market. I had already run one pre-sale, but you had only run one pre-sale as well. So you're still trying to introduce your market to pre-sales. Corey doesn't run them
The,
often, and now she
yeah.
loves them, likes
This
them.
is I don't know if I love them. Valentine's Day, I did one. St. Patrick's Day. This one, Teachers Appreciation next. And then I'll have a good basis to go off of if I like them or not.
That's very interesting. I took a poll in the Sugar Cookie marketing group yesterday. Say which of these upcoming holidays is your best seller, will be your best seller, right? So it's
Okay.
not holidays that have passed, it's holidays that are coming. And I thought the answers are pretty interesting. I'm going to scroll down to find it. Corey is made a video. Oh, this lady had posted about her ducks. Apparently, when you go
I
on a
saw
cruise, you're
that.
supposed to hide ducks. I thought that was very funny. Where in my poll? Sometimes it
Well,
hides
what
my
had
stuff.
Heather had asked, she had like indirect. So you had nurses, you had teacher appreciation. Mother's Day was on there. I want to say she put Father's Day on there, and she just had people vote
Who do you
of what
think?
was
I got it
coming
pulled
up.
up. Thanks
I
for,
want to
yeah.
say teachers appreciation.
No, the out of 130 votes in the last 24 hours, as opposed to 23 hours ago, graduation was 38% of what people predict their sales will be, followed by Easter, 34%, followed by teacher appreciation, 24%. And then astoundingly, nurse appreciation, people predicted only accounts for 1% of their sales, and Mother's Day, 3%.
Yeah, I will agree with that. See, I told you Mother's Day is a poo-poo one because moms having to buy for themselves just doesn't happen.
I know. So based on this, if I was going to do a pre-sale,
See, it
graduation,
wouldn't have
still
even crossed my
graduation.
mind to do a graduation pre-sale, to be quite honest, because I just always feel those are custom orders. But you could do like generic graduation
Hmm.
ones and see how it does. I would be curious about that.
So Corey, it's hard to run a SWOT analysis on something you haven't done before, but you can run a SWOT analysis on pre-sales in general, or she can do a graduation pre-sale and see how it performs, and then run a
Sure.
SWOT analysis to see if it's something she's could consider doing next year.
What I want to say as encouraging words as you SWOT analysis yourselves do this after listening to the podcast. If you did not do well on Easter pre-sales, and well is very subjective, to say Easter just doesn't sell well and I won't be doing Easter again, you are denying yourself opportunities there because in 2028, Easter will now be at the end of April. And if you are holding yourself to maybe your sales were a little bit lower than expected this year, you are costing your business the opportunity at it. And that's where the ebb and flow comes in. And that's why you'll have Easter in 2028. All the bakers who do the pre-sales will say, oh, it's been amazing. It's been out of there. I
Mhm.
had to turn off my orders. That's the ebb and flow.
Mhm. So
It's,
in that
people,
comment section of the post, how are your Easter orders going? Because we're kind of locking them in now, right? And I got to get into the kitchen and bake them. It's the disparity between I sold nothing and I sold my left kidney is fascinating to me. I know there's a ton of market factors, and it's easy to say, well, it just, well, that whole like, it's you, it's not me. The SWOT analysis says it's me first. What am I doing? What am I not doing? What can I do? What should I be worried about doing? Right.
yeah.
So when we do the SWOT analysis, when you find yourself frustrated with something, like Corey and I, we said, well, the podcast numbers are incrementally going down. What can we look at? Well, let's change up how the podcast is structured. Let's change up who we have on the podcast. Well, what last year were the highest, most listened to podcasts? Well, it's when we had guests. People are tired of our voices. They're like yappers.
I
So,
agree.
okay, let's do that. Then we also say, okay, let's record it. Let's do the video component and upload that to YouTube as a different avenue. If we just said, well, it's not our fault people aren't listening, let's not change anything, how do you think that would affect the future downloads?
You would be dumb. You'd say, they're twins. You're idiots.
But
Like
what if I
literally,
say,
they
it's
told
not
you.
my podcast, it's the market?
oh, I'm then it's all hands off. Like, oh, you can't do anything. It wasn't my fault. But you'd be like, well, twins, you know that people like to listen to other people, and your squeaky voices for 253 episodes has been quite a lot and taxing on the ears. So
Yeah.
we'd be like, yeah, you're probably right. We should have more people on the podcast. But if we said, you know what, the listens are going lower and lower, let's cut this off. They don't want it anymore. That's also robbing us of an opportunity to be better. And that's where you get the ebbs and the flows and the getting better, bigger, badder, faster, stronger, Papa John's. Or you have people who are like, I'm just not doing this anymore. I don't like this aspect of my business, and I'm cutting the arm off of that. So I won't even know what I'm missing because I have no arm now.
Right. So I really like the SWOT analysis to look internally at external factors versus looking externally and just shutting down internally.
Did you say egg externally, like an Easter
Extra,
pun right
I wish
there?
I didn't, but I wish I did. Easter, Easter.
You could name the
See,
podcast Looking Externally at Your SWOT Analysis.
I will be doing that very long title. Thank you so much for that.
You're so welcome. You're
So,
welcome. It's a marketing brain right
what,
here.
give them some ideas. What's other things you could run a SWOT analysis on? I'm going to say a great SWOT analysis objective is order flow. We talked about the texting question was funnels and how long they are. And we said every click is a risk of a loss. How can you shorten the funnel? So my strength is this great website, but my weakness is how many clicks it takes to get there. The
Yeah.
opportunity is I can cut out the form and I can use these other methods of getting people to order. But my threat is, am I allowed to even do that? Can I take payment online? Am I, what happens when the email goes to spam and things like that? Can spam.
Yeah, sure, sure. I mean, there's so many things you could do it. You could do it on your, if you're a big farmer's market person, that's a whole
Oh,
SWOT analysis on how what your opportunities are, what your strengths are. I got a really good tent. It's logoed. It's got my name on it. My opportunity is, I haven't built up the displays to make it more inviting. I just feel like I'm sitting there twiddling my thumbs, and I think it's off-putting to people because they don't want to be talked to. So, there's so many things you could do
with
for
that
that one.
one, threats, I'm going to say weather, location, and competition within
Marketing,
the space.
yeah.
You can even say
In
a
the
threat is constricted parking. We had a big farmers market that they took their parking lot away and it diminished how many people could access it.
Yeah, yeah. No, there's so, yeah. I mean, if you honestly sit back and think about it, you could swat just about everything in your life. Your dough prep days, your customer relations part, especially if you live in a very saturated area. That's one of the things that can keep you above and beyond your competitors, since we're really offering the same things, is how can I make the best customer experience so that they want to come back? And, if they ever leave me, they're like, I miss her.
Yeah. The final point in wrapping up this SWOT analysis is it's not a one and done. You don't do it and then make $1 million. If you did, we'd all be doing it and making $1 million. So the
Yeah.
SWOT analysis should be seen as a living document. So from the SWOT analysis, the challenge is to take 3 action items and SMART goals them. You remember what the SMART acronym was? No, Korean acronym.
Safe,
Uh, SMART goal.
manageable,
Yeah, yeah.
attractive.
Specific, measurable, attainable, and relevant and time bound. So yeah, we can do the SWOT analysis. So let's go back to your Easter one. So we know that you said you weren't excited about your offerings, and that was because of the time constraints. And your opportunities were to teach more cookie classes with better designs now, and to cross-pollinate that. And your threat was, what would we say your threat was?
My threat, did we go over my threat for that? It's timing as far as where
Oh, I think
Easter
we said the
landed.
date. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
and
So let's
sorry,
say,
where kids are getting off of school. The day that I had for pickup is the day before Easter because I was thinking Easter baskets. A lot of these people wanted to gift them to teachers, but that wasn't my pickup day. Do you see where I was in a conundrum?
that is a good one. So I'll put that back into your weaknesses was your pickup date timing. Okay.
Yeah.
So next year, if we do the pre-sale again for Easter, we're going to create 3 SMART goals from this SWOT analysis, Easter SWOT analysis. So give me what 3 goals are. I'm going to say add 2 weeks to your planning and prep time. So that's specific, measurable,
Yeah.
attainable, it's relevant, and it's time bound. So that's going to be the first one, 2 weeks.
So what I'll do is I won't do St. Patrick's Day because you said Easter is in March.
Yes.
So I will skip St. Patrick's Day, focus on Easter. So I'm one, early to market, but two, not competing against myself, trying to sell out my St. Patrick's Day presale while also trying to sell out my Easter presale.
A delectable thing to take away from this.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm Googling it. March 17th is St. Patrick's Day next year. And then what is it,
Yeah.
March 28th? Those put them right next to each other. And you
Too
were
close for
surprised with
comfort.
how they performed, but I think you know deep down in your heart that Easter will outperform St. Patrick's Day.
I do believe.
Okay, so come up with two more SMART goals here. You remember they're specific, measurable, attainable. I think a specific goal around the designs.
I want to say what I actually do. If people didn't know, I follow a bunch of your guys' pages and I try to engage when it shows up there. If I see a design I like, I'll screenshot it and I add it to Easter Inspo in my Google Drive. So I have one for Valentine's Day, I have one for St. Patrick's Day, and now I'll have one for Easter. So when I feel like, what do I offer? I can just go back into that folder from 365 days ago and say, oh, these are the things that caught my eye in the feed. So these are things that I should be offering because it's something I'd one either be excited about, two I thought looked really good, was a fun option maybe I didn't think of.
I like that. So what she's also going to do, because we did the SWOT analysis, is she's going to add two more religious type cookies. I'm
Hmm.
not sure if I'm like religious connotation cookies. I don't know. Something she's going to do from the SWOT analysis is she saw that her strength was the cross cookie. The weakness was probably not having as many of those options because who knew that they were going to sell out?
Sure.
Somebody even asked. So it's a great signal that that was what the audience wanted.
Yeah,
And
good, and
then
good to know because I didn't even that would not have crossed my mind first and foremost.
what I want to tell people is Corey wouldn't have even known to have had this cross her mind had she not taken the first step to do the pre-sale.
Yeah, absolutely. And just
Right.
had it there as not, I did not think I was going to sell any of them. And here I am
Coming up with the
bezoozled
next
by
year
the,
strategy. So
yeah,
that's the thing is that the first one fails and you refuse to do the SWOT analysis, you're not going to do the next one, right? If
sure.
the first one fails or underperforms or pops off and you do the SWOT analysis, the next one will be better set up. So if I could come up with a third one, a third SMART goal attributed to our SWOT analysis as I'm looking it up here. Oh, I would say my third one is to build out my cookie class schedule to add an extra class 2 weeks out, 2 weeks prior. So that puts that class mid-March. Typically in the past, I would have said, March, let's do a St. Patrick's Day class, but we're not going to do St. Patrick's. So my cookie classes are going to now mirror this pre-sale, and we're going to do a class leading up to Easter, and then possibly because Easter always falls on a Sunday, the class the day before Easter.
Yeah. And I could, if I wanted to, thinking about it next year, me and Heather actually have a class this year. It's the day before Easter. I could host my own pop up at the class next year.
Very nice.
I'm already baking that stuff. The colors are already made. Make a little extra, pad my pre-sale numbers. Maybe if they didn't meet my expectations, do it pop-up style, carrying the same designs over and seeing if I can't unload some product there.
A great way to not have to increase the time and research costs, but still get some runway out of the icing colors cut.
Yes.
And then if we're even more savvy, Corey would make some of those pre-sale cookies actual designs we were using in the class.
Yes, sure, 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 sure.
So now from now we have three things. Now, what I love to do when Corey and I did a SWOT analysis, we do it after the end of each Vendy blend day, right? I keep it in a living document. I keep it living. Nothing is more alive than a Google Doc because it is
Yeah.
accessible, it is cloud-based, and it keeps and Corey even asked me yesterday, can you pull up that SWOT analysis and tell me what we said back in? Right.
Yeah.
So from the SWOT analysis, I would keep these in my Google Drive and be like SWOT analysis, Easter pre-sales 2026. That way in 2027 in January, when I'm planning out my year, I can start my scheduling of what my pre-sale is going to look like. Does that make sense?
Yeah, just having it organized there. And while I love the Notes app, I do love it. Just having something that says, pre-sales, and then in there you have Easter, Valentine's Day, graduation, and then you have under that your test beds and your SWOT analysis for each and every one, your inspo photos, what you offered, the prices, what you sold, what you didn't sell.
Just hearing you say that tells me that the next time you do this is going to be so much better. It's based off of analyzing this SWOT analysis and saying where the weaknesses, firming up the weaknesses, increasing the strengths, finding the better opportunities and being cognizant of the threats and incorporating
Yep.
that into the plan. So if you did that for, let's say I did my first farmer's market, here's my farmer's market SWOT analysis, or I did my first wedding venue event. I did my second cookie class. I did my fifth pre-sale. If you constantly, I'm so sorry. There's no way that the numbers don't move in your favor.
I know. And I want to say when it comes to pre-sales, consistency in offering them and consistency in showing up is how you create that audience. It's not just I turned on my pre-sales for the first time and I sold out. Wish that would happen. But if you have any sort of competition in your area, it's not always going to be how it works.
You guys can see back to this. Competition makes you do a SWOT analysis. Analysis makes you better. So then your competition also must do a SWOT analysis to then be better. And that's why competition is so valuable to the consumer. We benefit
Oh,
a
yeah.
lot by having competition. We benefit by people competing on prices to get us in the doors. Thank you, Walmart. We benefit by people competing on experience. Thank you, Wegmans. And we benefit by people. A lot of these West Virginia grocery stores have gas stations. That is not in Northern Virginia. I don't know why,
It is
but
not.
that is extremely convenient. So now I went to a Martin's and I thought about getting a rewards card because I'm using their gas station. It's so convenient. It's just right at the end of the parking lot of these grocery stores for
I
some
know
reason.
that'd be so interesting.
Right. So now you can see from the consumer's perspective how this is great. Competition is wonderful. And how, from a business perspective, competition is frustrating, but it is also great. It makes you better.
Yeah. And I wish we could say we have no competition, but there will always be competition. So you can either get mad at it or you can make it make you better.
Right.
And my competitors make me wake up on Monday morning and they get me to work on time. So I appreciate them because they are doing the heavy lifting over here.
And I think that's what community over competition is like, hey, you're going to be better. I'm going to do my best to be better than you. And let's make sure that the consumer has the best experience possible.
Yeah. Yeah. The consumer wins.
The consumer wins when there's competition. So take this SWOT analysis and apply it to Easter. I know we had a lot of weird stuff with Easter because it shifted the day. We in Northern Virginia have this very cold weather that didn't allow the blooms to bloom.
Yeah.
We're coming up because Easter's next weekend, right? Not this weekend, but the following.
It is. Yeah.
Right. So we have the Easter next weekend. Okay, how are we going to incorporate, change things next year? You'd be such a strategic. You wouldn't have to go to my sugar cookie marketing page thread and be like, nothing moved and I'm so frustrated.
I know. You'd be your biggest competitor would be you last year. And whew, that when both of y'all's win, that is a win in my book.
I liked somebody, she commented, my sales for Easter are lower this year, but I've been on vacation. Great.
Yeah.
Great. Because now instead of just saying my sales are low this year, I've been on vacation. Like you've been on vacation. She said, I know I need to go back and send a newsletter to get my sales out. Great. Now conduct a SWOT analysis. Let's say next year you really liked vacations. I want to incorporate the vacation, but I also want to make sure my sales are landed. She's going to schedule out the newsletters while she's gone.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
that takes us into that. Just to recap, what is a SWOT? It's strength, weaknesses, opportunities, threats. Opportunities and threats are external to the kitchen. Strengths and weaknesses you can kind of see is inside the house. And that includes inquiries, social media marketing, and things like that. I like to think about marketing, but always start with the objective. Find out what am I trying to analyze here? What is this? And Corey said, let's do Easter pre-sales. So that'll kind of tell us what strengths we're looking at, what weaknesses we're looking at. Then they said the toes method is marrying the two. So the strength and opportunities will guide the strategy, and the threats and weaknesses will guide the let me repair these areas.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. That was interesting for me. I learned a lot from my SWOT.
I would challenge you, my efficient technology twin sisters, to create
Yeah.
a SWOT template in Google Docs
You're
and
right.
run it every time you say, okay, that was interesting how that went. What would I like to know? What would future me wish past me wrote down?
And
I would
I
say
want
in
to,
my SWOT document, here's my offerings. You can add pictures in
yes.
Google
Yeah.
Docs, and here's my numbers. Here's how many units I sold. Here's how much I priced them at, and here was my promotional schedule. That way, future you'll be like, oh, because today you say I need to add two more religious type designs.
Yes.
364 days from now, you'll
No.
remember that.
No, I will not. I will not. I've been going through my email. As you know, I'm inboxing zero this year. So I'm trying to maintain my inbox zero. There's one email I haven't deleted because what it looked like I sent to myself was a password. Where it goes to, nobody knows, but it sits in there because I thought I'd remember and I really actually do not. So having something that to remind me so I don't make the same mistakes and maybe instead I'm sitting there like, should I offer religious cookies? I can be like, yeah, Corey, offer them. That's what your number one seller was. Cut this guy that didn't sell well and then see what happens this year.
And you can tell yourself, well, I'll just pull up the job form. Who knows where we'll be in 364 years, 364 days, not years. I know I'll be in 364
Dead.
years. That's for sure. But being able to pull up like a master document, which I really like creating master documents, that kind of is like me talking to future me, as if I'm like, Houston, we got a problem.
Yeah.
Here's what we did. Here's what we're gonna do. Then future me is like, what was it that I needed to remember? So
Yeah.
keeping that all in one central location, from pictures, from links to Corey could even put, here is the people who ordered from me. I just want to know because it's not something
Well, that's
unattainable.
what, if I'm doing a newsletter, that's who I want to send a newsletter to next year.
I know, I love it. I just have to let the cat in from the outside because it's so cold. It's just a small door. Keep going on with your bread thing.
Let the cat in. Back to I found this loaf recipe. So not necessarily pumpkin bread, pumpkin loaf. Does that mean it's bread? Bread to me is a little bit meatier, like thicker, more to chew into. But this loaf is so soft, melt in your mouth. Oh, there's my buddy. There's my buddy.
Look
Look at
at
that
who
little
invited.
man. Look at
Now
that
I'm gonna
little
put you in the
man.
basement and lock you down.
So this loaf recipe, I actually shared it on my page if you want to go find it. It's absolutely delicious. Not my recipe, found it online. It just was when I Googled loaf recipe, it was the number one that popped up with the highest reviews. And I love making a high review recipe today. I'll be making pumpkin cookies and there's maple syrup in there. So I wonder how that will perform in my taste buds.
Stay tuned to the end of the podcast for the rest of this.
No, I'm done with that section. I've talked about it twice. I like pumpkin.
Moving to the Cookie College boot camp. We have the boot camp next week. It'll be a 3-day boot camp starting on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. On Wednesday, you have the opening Facebook Live with me and Corey, and then you'll get my module, which is creating forms for pre-sales. This is the pre-sale. That's why Corey's big in pre-sales this year. I'll be creating a step-by-step screen share where we set up our form. The next day, Cora will be going through what she has described to me as an exceptionally long PowerPoint. This is everything she knows.
It's all my brain space. So you'll know what I know. I couldn't possibly give you one more tip or tidbit.
And then the final day on Friday, we'll do a closeout remarketing strategy for this pre-sale, how we'd follow, I'm sorry, not remarketing, how we'd follow up with people, and probably a little remarketing because this is marketing. And then we'll end with a live Q&A, which is about an hour. You'll get into a private Facebook group and it's all $13. But at the end of the boot camp, you can sign up for the Cookie College. You'll never guess, for $13 off. So you immediately get your money back and off future boot camps, which next month is 3D printing led by
It is.
me.
And Heather says you'll get all future boot camps as long as you're a member of the college. I just
Right.
want to make sure you are explaining that part.
But technically, you'd get them all for free because that $13 discount is for each month. That keeps going. That discount, if you signed up, if you purchased $13 pre-sale course, we see you next week. You get that discount code. You upgrade to the college. Every month, your membership renews at $13 off.
Here's my thing. As someone who has learned that the way you say things matters, because on St. Patrick's Day, I made one of everything for free.
Oh, yeah.
It does matter.
Thank you for
say
clarification. So Samantha actually had signed up for a boot camp, and then she was like, "Oh, this is the wrong one." And I really think it was how I laid out the website. So I refunded and got her into the right one. But she emailed me. She said, "I loved last month's boot camp so much, and I'm so excited for the pre-sales boot camp. I just signed up for it." And then she added this part. I'm going to read it because I thought it was interesting. She said, "I wanted to reach out because when you switched me to the photography boot camp after I'd accidentally signed up for the cookie classes boot camp, I know it's supposed to expire, but it's not leaving my account. I just want to let you know there's a glitch." I told her, "Thank you so much. When we first launched these, we did the 7-day expiration, but enough people came back and they're like, I just didn't have time to watch it in the 7 days. Is there anything you can do?" So we said, okay, let's not make them expire. So when you sign up for a boot camp, you have access to that material for as long as the platform supports it. So
Nice.
there is no 7 days expiration on anything but the discount upgrade code for the Cookie College. And that, if you miss that one, just sign up for the next boot camp and you can snag it there. So yeah, if you sign up for the pre-sales boot camp and you can't make that 7 days prior, the 7 days after we watch it, no sweat, my friend. You just miss out on the private group, but you can rewatch that content for as long as you need to.
Yeah.
Are you
Nice.
excited about your camera debut again?
No, I'm not good on camera. Sometimes I talk so much, I forget where I am at in the sentence, unfortunately. And then when I tune back in, I'm like, did I already save this or did I not?
Your
Rambling.
PowerPoints are very extensive. You guys want to tell all a walk through walkthrough. She displays the PowerPoint on a TV. You guys get a copy of the PowerPoint to follow along. And then she walks through with imagery. It's not just a wall of text, it's mostly like pictures and kind of explaining why she did what she did, what she'd do differently, and what she'd do in the future. Kind of like
Yeah.
a SWOT analysis.
A SWOT analysis. What I know is I'm a visual learner, my friends. And I also, when I approach a recipe, I want you to be like, instead of being like, this should make 8 to 10 cookies, I want you to say, this will make 10 cookies that are 63 grams each. That's what I want to know. I want to know the details because I want to follow it to a pinpoint. And that's how I teach.
Okay, great. So we'll have that up. That will be on April 1st, April Fool's Day. Don't
April
believe
Fools.
anything you see on the internet, except for that the pre-sale course has dropped and you
It
can
was
sign up
so
and
funny
attend it.
with AI coming out. We had this weird day of weather and nothing happened, but someone posted a tornado photo of an area that was not even in Northern Virginia and it went viral. They said it happened in Leesburg. It did not. People were
It was
sharing
like
and
a
said,
whole funnel cloud. There was a small cow. We don't even have
yeah.
cows in Northern Virginia.
Someone says, my friend shared me that this just happened. Literally, the person shared it would have been a part of the tornado. It was that close to their vehicle.
Yeah. Uh, yeah. Why are you saying this story to them?
I'm saying April Fool's Day. Definitely
Oh,
don't
yeah.
believe anything with
Not
AI
with
going
AI.
around.
Nano banana, just don't
Mm-mm.
believe it. It's not true. They're not pregnant. That tornado didn't touch down and none of it is real. So the pre-sales boot camp is in 8 days. The 3D printing cookie cutters boot camp is in 38 days. You can actually register for that now, and then you'll get access when we drop it. And then Corey and I argued, and we decided is June's boot camp will be cracking community groups, of which Corey and I have been testing a community group she started for 3 or 4 years now, 3 years.
Yeah, I think we're on three. We're
And
going towards four in June.
she has me starting a community group here in the hills of West Virginia to kind of see we have more opportunity for porch pickups, pop-ups
Yeah,
here. So
yeah.
she wanted to test pop-ups. So that is what is coming down the pipeline. Um, Now, in terms of nobody texted it in to the Goss column.
The Goss
Did
call?
you see any Goss call from other groups?
Did you see a Goss call from another group? I'm trying to think what I saw that caught my attention this week that I went down the rabbit hole from. Um, did you catch anything? I know we talked about the last one where,
I saw somebody dirty delete. They thought a baker had been stealing photos, but the baker hadn't.
oh shoot.
I know. So we got a dirty deletion there. That's the, don't, I always find like an interesting, since we just did the AI collab, here's my Goss hot take is that the line in the sand of where people are allowed to use AI and what they don't think anybody else is allowed to do is very interesting, right? So you have like a cutter shop like Liz Viz uses AI exclusively now to generate the images of cookies, and I'll be honest, they look real. And she's
Yeah, they
able to
do.
feed. She does the design from scratch, so she can feed that file into these generators, and it looks really. So I was thinking, like, people are like, "Well, I wish you had a real baker to do it." Why? Because you feel like it's more authentic. Because the AI generated image that it spits out is something that you guys could create.
They want them to invest back into the baking
Okay, so
community.
now here's that one. But now when the AI image was complex, it was like, well, bakers can't recreate that. So you see that it's a moving target of where the AI should be. And I see
It,
bakers like, I'll never use it, but then I see you have an AI generated flyer.
it's the same thing as a lot of people hated Eddie until they got one. It's cheating until I have it.
Yeah,
No, it's not cheating.
it's cheating because it removes the artistry, but setting it up and paying for it does require a lot of hard work. Okay, so with the AI one, just the arguments, and I see that in a lot of groups that allow, unfortunately, anonymous posting and nicknames. It's just a bunch of
Yeah.
anon and nicknames arguing with each other, but they're just there's no bottom to the moving target of I'll do it, but I can do it because I needed this reason, but you can't do it because it's cheating.
Yeah, yeah, only whatever I can do justify. It's the same thing that when someone's going through traffic and someone cuts you off, you're yelling, "Oh, get off the road, you don't want to drive." But when you accidentally cut someone else off, you're like, "Well, I didn't really see you." And
Yeah.
you're able to justify it on your end, but to them, they need to go to hell and get their license revoked, but you're able to justify it on your end. And that's where people are so blinded by it. anyone can justify their need for something, their need to cut you off. I had to speed. I was late to get my kids forgot a lunchbox and I had to run the red, things like that. Everyone has a good, juicy reason. But it's so funny. We don't let anyone else have a good, juicy reason.
No, I saw a really interesting context of this. A baker said, like, don't use AI, but could someone use Photoshop to change the date on my cookie? And someone's like, well, I used AI, and they're like, I tried it too. But okay, but that's a conflicting stand. Well, I'm good enough. Okay, but that's not the cookie that
Yeah.
was made. So it's just interesting. And I challenge people before you guys get into the mudslinging comments and groups that allow it. Trust me, I'm reading everything you guys write. Before you get into the mudslinging, ask yourself, if I changed my mind on this, how embarrassing would it be to walk this back, the statement I'm about to make?
And some people exist and they're like, well, I just changed my mind. Now I have more information and it is what it is. And they're free. They honestly could care less to walk it back. It's the type of people out there. It's so funny what makes the world go round. And me and Heather are, if we say it, we got to mean it. So we never try to say anything we don't mean so we don't have to walk it back.
Yeah, because
But
that walk back to me is a walk of shame. Like that's the worst one. But yeah, I just see a lot of that right now. The flavor of the month is arguing about the line of where these AI generators, which are super unique tools. I was thinking about, I saw this person and they were doing a kitchen remodel. It was on Reddit, some thread, right? And they were just changing out the flooring. And I was like, wow, that's such a good indicator of what the
yeah.
end result will be because it looks like it's already in their kitchen.
Yeah, and it's so funny that bakers will be like, "Well, I just used AI to make this flyer," and that's not cheating, but it's cheating when you include a cookie in
Now
there. And
take that logic and apply it to a group of graphic designers. Now, graphic designers, well, I just use it to do this one. Now apply that to a group of a bunch of photographers, right?
yeah,
So you can see kind of it's just a wish-washy. For some reason, I'm obsessed with reading the disparity in the comment section of those types of
it's
threads.
because it's so new. It almost takes me back to the Eddie coming to the platform stage where people are like, "It's cheating. I'll never use that," and then those people now have one and they're using
It's
them
a
all the
tool, man.
time.
It's a tool. You don't have to use it, but I don't know if you can necessarily be self-righteous looking down your nose at people who do something differently, than
Someone
you
said,
do.
I thought it was so funny. If it's cheating, when's the test? Like we're not in high school anymore and there is no test. You run your own thing and if it works for you, it works for you. And if it doesn't work for someone else, it doesn't work for somebody
I
else.
think Amy said a quote like that. She's like, if the market's flooded, I'm the water. I'm going to be there. If there's money, I'm going to head towards it.
That's what me
So,
and Heather, we have this local community group and they love to complain about traffic as if they are not contributing to the traffic. But Heather had posted this one meme and I have to reshare it in the group soon just to ruffle some feathers. It was like me complaining about traffic while sitting in traffic.
yeah, it's just the funniest thing. Like, don't get in my way, but I'm allowed to. You can't do it because it bothers me, but I can do it because there's reasons that I need to. You don't
Yeah,
have those reasons.
you
Uh,
can't. You're
So if you guys want to, I'll post it again in the group. It's a long job form link, so it's not necessarily something I can say. I would, but then you guys would roll your eyes. But upcoming events, we have the Pipe a Park collab. You can register for that, and I'll help you with copy. This one will be nice. Makes you go outside, makes you take a cookie. You're going to pipe a flower and take it to a park. I'm going to challenge you, and I'm having Corey to do this as well. Find something in the park that people could identify. A lot of that's going to be the opening sign, the sign at the front. A
yeah.
lake, like if there's a body of water that was really identifiable. I'm not sure if parks have like formations. If Corey, okay, we could go to the natural bridge.
Yeah, that's out there. We want it to be closer to
Yeah, I
you, not
know. Corey's
necessarily
not living.
away.
Okay, Lee Sylvania has the train tracks,
It has swampy marshland that you can actually walk around, and you
but
can
we're
walk
trying
through
to do
the
an
marsh.
identifiable thing.
Yeah, I'm saying these marsh, the walking through the marsh. It's all these bridges
Oh,
over
those,
the
yeah, I've
marsh.
never done that. I would go with you if you
Yeah,
did
yeah,
that.
yeah,
That would be
yeah,
a good, the bridge walk, that wooden
yeah.
long trail. Oh, that's a good idea. I would do it there. Piper Park, taken care of. But that's in 3 weeks. You can go to the events tab in the Sugar Cookie Marketing Group, register for that, and then I'll remind you and help you with copy. May, we're doing the Main Street May, and we're going to do this one always performs really well. That's why we keep bringing it back. It was Liz's idea a couple years ago, and she let us take it.
Lydia.
Lydia, I'm so sorry, Lydia Eldridge. The L's in my name all blend together. I'm gonna call my mom Liz. That's in 8 weeks. What we're gonna do is you're gonna find a local business. You're gonna turn them into a cookie. Great way to do that is with the logo. What did you do last year?
I did
You
graffiti cat pizza.
did. You know what you
I
should do?
did.
Yoders.
What? Yoder's Dutch Delight, because I'm a big fan of
Yeah,
Yoder's
you're a
Dutch
huge
Delight.
fan. Everyone's a huge fan. I've never been in, but it makes me want to go.
I
And
should do
then
Yoder's Dutch Delight.
maybe if Stonebridge opens something, I guess you could do it there. Oh, you could do the restaurant that opened in Tackett.
That fig, bourbon
Yeah,
fig.
yeah,
Yeah, because we wanted to
something.
go there
I would
too.
love to go, and I think that they have a lot of notoriety around them right now because they're new and fancy. And then the odds of people saying, "Oh, I know that business. I went
Yeah,
there.
no, that's a good
I'm
one.
gonna
Maybe
get
we'll have to
hired."
do that, and we can grab dinner after.
Oh, I'd love to try it. I've never been. Oh, so that will be in 8 weeks. So we have the Piper Park in April, Main Street May, and then Corey and I'll talk about June. I might go back to Meet the Baker, a little something easier. I know the dry J months, but we'll talk
Well, if
about that.
we're doing relationship building, maybe we can do something internal that you can feature someone, you feature your family, feature a pet, something like that. I like that idea.
I do like that. Upcoming events, What's Popping Con is in 3 weeks. That'll be in Kent, Ohio. Corey and I will be speaking on how to pop off the newsfeed. It's a
Nice.
cake pop conference. There's a lot of pop
A
puns.
lot of poppin' puns.
Cookie Con is in 13 weeks in Orlando, June 24th, and the Vendy Blendy, thank goodness, is 35 weeks away. Black Friday. So, upcoming major holidays. This will be the last time we ever talk about April Fools. It seems to be the most underperforming. At one time, I felt like it was high performing, but
It's great for a page post. It's not great for sales.
good to know. So April Fools is in 8 days. Easter is in 2 weeks. That's 12 days. Teacher appreciation, which I think a lot of people are getting up for selling for, that'll
Yeah,
be in 6 weeks. Nurse appreciation, I guess I should probably take that one off. Not that we don't appreciate nurses love you, but it seems like a really low performing cookie sales holiday. I think it had its jump up with
it
COVID,
did. It
giving
did.
gifts to frontline workers. Mother's Day is in 7 weeks, but that seems to be Corey's predicting a low performer. I'll be asking some questions in the group to get a
Yeah,
better
to see.
indicator. And then graduation, which is one of the biggest sellers, and that's in 11 weeks. That'll be unique to your area, though. So for us, that's June 12th.
Nice, nice.
STL me about it. This is sponsored by Cookie Design Lab. You can use code TWINS for 15% off or text into the podcast at 571-556-5644. And you have a chance to win a month of Cookie Design Lab free. It'll actually be one of the apps we're using in the 3D printing bootcamp. Corey,
I
we have
had to
two
use it.
texts.
I had to use Cookie Design this week for a little graphic bunny that I found online. The client wanted mini cookies. I actually don't have a ton of mini cookie cutters. So she had a specific thing she wanted. Unfortunately, bunny ears make the sizing of cookie
Uh-huh.
cutters weird.
Because the
So
ears are so long, making the width short, depending on how the cutter shop measures them.
absolutely. So the cutter that she had shown me actually only came in a normal 3.5 to 4 inch to make room for this bunny ears. Otherwise, it would be comically tiny.
Oh,
So I was able to find a graphic of a bunny's ears backwards a little bit.
oh,
He's got a
nice.
little backward ear and was able to make that in Cookie Design Lab. It did it in 2 minutes flat.
Yeah, because all you have to really do is upload the PNG. Background remover tool is now built in, and then it just kind of outlines it. I had to drop the digital downloads kit for this month for March. So you guys
Yeah.
can, if you're a digital downloads member or Cookie College member, you guys have access to that now. It's a U rule, and the ruler was made by Cookie Design Lab.
Oh, it's nice.
I create the
It's
PNG, just drop it in there. Granted, it looks like a rectangle because that's what rulers
that's
are
what
shaped as.
rulers do.
But
That's
the
what
digital
rulers
downloads
do.
kit includes 7 printable downloads. So a pattern, a social media post, which is not a printable download, but a cookie tag front and back, a STL, a transfer sheet, and the PNG and print. So if Corey wanted to recreate these, she could use the Eddie print file to print you rule on a ruler
That's
shaped
even
cookie. STL, that's included.
yeah, better.
We have two texts this week.
Number one.
Number one, you're the winner. The area code is 631. Email me at heather@sugarcookiemarketing.com and I'll connect you with Cookie Design Lab for your first free month. They say, I guess not she or he says, what is your experience with Eventbrite ads? Do you recommend them? I don't understand what I'm seeing and not seeing much in general. Is it really that simplistic? I'm not sure if it's being effective. Okay. I know what you're asking. I'm going to tell you Eventbrite ads used to just be an ads manager for Facebook ads. I think
Okay.
Eventbrite has since rolled out its own ads. That's confusing to me because it still does the Facebook ads thing. In that case, I'm always going to say your best manager for ads is Facebook's Meta Ads Manager platform, right? So
Okay.
ads are great and they're also terrible because they will take your money. If you say, "Hey, show this ad," Meta's going to say, yep, okay, got it. Now give me my money. It was up to you to tell it where to show that ad. So I see a lot of bakers getting in trouble with their targeting is so broad. I'm seeing a baker cookie class ad and they're about 500 miles from me. So
Yeah,
they have just wasted their money because they paid for me to see that, but there's absolutely no way I could convert. As far
true.
as the Eventbrite ads, I'll have to research it. I only run ads through Facebook Ads Manager.
Yeah, but I can see Eventbrite is its own search platform altogether. So people who are using Eventbrite to go to places are subscribed to the newsletters. They're on there trying to find things. I know that when I want to do something, I look up something specific. So I
Okay.
see like a wreath making class that I did in December.
I do like that.
I just Googled, end up on Eventbrite for this wreath making class and signed up. I didn't necessarily spend a ton of time on there, but I can see where if someone really utilizes it and like that's how they plan their weekends with Eventbrite, that it could be beneficial.
Okay, here is here is a post in Reddit comparing Facebook ads to Eventbrite ads. They said that on this, the original poster said they're running an Eventbrite ad for a client, and one click cost them out of 538 impressions, they had one click and it cost them $30. That would be terrible. That means for one
Yes.
click, you spent $30. And on LinkedIn, they had gotten 33 clicks for only $1.92 per click. Somebody else said, I know this thread is old. It's a year old, but I just want to say I did an Eventbrite ad, $100 ad, 10 clicks, Facebook ad, $100 ad, 28 clicks. So again, supporting my theory that if I were to run an ad, if I were to do ad spend, I would run that on Facebook, through
Yeah, I
Facebook,
would.
even if it is pointing people back to Eventbrite. Make sense?
Yeah.
Right.
Yep, yep, yep.
That's my phrase of the day. Make sense? Does that make sense
Makes
to you?
sense.
That make
Tracking.
sense?
Tracking line.
So for me and my house, we will use Facebook. But
Nice.
Eventbrite ads do make it look tempting. And I think you're saying it's simplistic, and that means that there's not a lot of targeting options.
Yes.
Facebook can seem overwhelming because there's a lot of targeting options. Another text. Hi, twins. Here's another question from Albany, New York. I saw a recent article saying that people aren't using Google to search anymore, but rather using GPT. Therefore, our marketing efforts to attract clients on our websites using SEO and having a Google business page aren't worth the effort. I have to say, my business in 2026 is dramatically slower than 2025, which I first attributed to January being a slow month. But this article makes me wonder if there's some truth to the chat GPT taking over, and if it means I need a new strategy get shown on chat. What are your thoughts, Debbie? This is actually a fully loaded question.
Yeah, sure.
Both right and wrong. Here's what I'm going to say. A lot of bakers haven't ever exhausted the SEO of their websites.
They've not.
It's an entire multi-billion dollar industry, and just writing a blog post is not doing enough to say that your website is search engine optimized, SEO.
Yeah.
But now there's AEO, AI engine optimized, and it's a new theory in this whole thing where people are using chat. Well, just remember, chat's still using Google search, right?
Chat GPT isn't making up something out of nothing. It's not this all-knowing being. What it's actually doing is pinging places on the internet. That's why if it's like, would you like me to pull up where I got this from? You can ask it to tag what website it got the information from so you can give it like have some credentials against it. So it's still pulling from there, but creating your website where it talks to the chat. And that's what we were talking to my older sister works at this big finance company that's online. And now they're making, instead of their blog post being like, this is this, it's answering questions because people are using chat to answer questions. So, can you make your blog post answer questions? If we're doing the Pipe Apart collab, what places should I go if I'm looking to walk around a park in the Woodbridge area? And then my blog post now answers that. And if you're in this area, I'm doing, and you tie it back to your business in that form or fashion.
I don't believe that chat is replacing search engines as much as it's changing how we optimize for a new version of a search engine.
Yeah.
So if Debbie says, if I say, hey, yeah, delete your website, she would be moving backwards. Now she has less optimizing the website for SEO is great for search. Here's the thing. A lot of people are using chat. I still use Google search, which does incorporate Gemini, which is their AI generator, but I'm
Yeah.
still going to maps and I'm finding that. Now, if I ask Gemini to find me a list of local Italian restaurants, it's going to pull that from its Google business profile listings.
Hmm. Yeah.
Unlike Google business profile, where you're kind of just you're signaling to the search engine to show you, I think chat are these AI generators can look at a more cohesive listing. When I say, hey, chat, I'm just going to call it chat, find me the best Italian restaurant in the area, it's able to look at not only the listing, but the reviews, and within the reviews, what is being spoken about. So I was Googling some local restaurants. I was trying to find some stuff around here. And it's now it's called the Know Before You Go. And you can see it's AI generated. And it said, hey, looks like the owner is really nice. And the crab rangoons are almost to die for. Like it was writing in very human terms to me, but it was reading
Yeah.
from the reviews.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now you can see how reviews are taking on a new aspect of optimization, right? Before we were doing reviews to signal for ranking. Now we're using reviews to signal for these know before you go little AI outtakes.
I like to use AI to ask it to see where I rank. If I were to ask it, what is a good baker, a sugar cookie baker in Woodbridge, it's actually pulling a lot of the information from my website and from the reviews on my Google business profile. So the words that I put on my website, like clean designs, tasty vanilla bean recipe, it's using that in its form when it gives you submits an answer to you. So a website's still very good. Having everything built out, great, because it's pulling all that information from those places. So it actually pulled information from my form, from my website, from my Google reviews, and from my Facebook.
If anything, SEO has gotten more complicated. Okay, so I asked Gemini what Cora was saying. What's a great Italian restaurant near Charlestown? Charlestown offers several great Italian dining options ranging from casual pizzerias to sit-down cafes. Now it pulls up the La Mezzaluna Cafe. It's family owned. It's widely regarded as a top choice for traditional Italian. It's famous for the fresh made. All this information is coming from that cohesive SEO based marketing now
Yes.
integrated into AI, EIO. It's gotten more complicated, but the consumer wins. But the consumer is also, as a consumer, if I was like, okay, I would needed to hire some service provider. So I was looking at, I think it might have been a mechanic or something. So I needed to hire a mechanic. So I was looking at their reviews and then I was like, okay, well, I'm not sure if those are real. So let me go to this website to look at their, like, let me go to a community group. So now all that can be done pretty quickly with AI doing the going through and telling me what's
Yeah.
good, what's bad.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's interesting. It is interesting. We could spend so much time on there because it is interesting. It's not going away. So, how can you integrate your business in it that makes your business both benefit from it and the end user benefit from it? Because that's where you marry those two and everybody wins.
I think on a website, being very distinct, very clear about the information somebody would likely ask an AI generator. So, let's say for a cottage baker, like, what is their schedule? When are their cookie classes? Well, a page on your website would need to detail all your cookie classes for the year so that this person or this generator could bring it to this person, right?
Yeah.
And that's where this informational type website's still very valuable, and the blog post answering questions, right?
Yes.
It's
Yeah.
just gotten a lot more complicated in a
Yeah.
great way.
In a great, great way.
Our sponsors, like we said, is Cookie Design Lab at 15% off if you use code TWINS or text in at 571-556-5644, and you could win a month of Cookie Design Lab. Bakey Bake is code TWINS for 10% off her entire website. What's Poppin' Con? Use code TWINS for $25 off your ticket. I think they still have tickets available. So if you want to see us in 3 weeks, they have quite the lineup. It's quite the event. This is their second year doing it, and it seems like they've SWOT analysis and only gotten better,
Yeah.
faster, stronger.
Yeah.
Papa John's. Primera Eddie, isn't Jennifer doing a
At the
podcast?
end of April, Jennifer, who is the representative for Primera, is actually doing a podcast with us. And the great part is she's talking about both Eddie and Freddie. And we're going to we'll make a post in the group where you can put your questions in there, and then we can ask Jennifer in person on the podcast. That'll be a great one.
You know what they put in they made a post about this the other day. You can print on soap. So kind of think
No
of
way.
like if you had like let's say a baby shower and you gave soap, you can print directly on the
Oh,
soap.
that's so
Yeah,
funny.
funny.
If
That
you're a
makes it
kitchen
pretty
and
cool.
bath remodeler,
Oh, that'd be so
bathroom remodeler, yeah.
funny. Yeah, you can kind of think of soaps in terms of like, I know we're always like, you can't eat it, so don't sell it. But no, like
Yeah.
think of if you marketed Eddie towards Corey saying a kitchen remodeler or somebody with a baby shower, you could offer that as like an add-on. How interesting. It was
Yeah.
wild to see it do. It had so many comments. If you guys want to go check it out, Eddie Printer Users Group on Facebook. Um, And then Bosch Nutrimilk, you can use code Sugar Cookies for $20 off your order.
You're with us. That's great. Do you have a Twinterest for us?
Corey and I had to go to the gym. I haven't been to the gym in a long time. And Corey's been going to the gym relentlessly. On Saturday mornings, you'd never find me at one. And she sent me a Snapchat on Saturday morning at one. And then we met at the mall on Sunday, and she made me walk 14,000 steps. And we only got to 9,000.
We got to 10 when it was all said and done. I had to go home and walk a little walk
The walk
around.
to the car got us a 10.
Yeah.
So I was going to go to the gym. Corey and I were talking about, if you guys even care, there's this theory, strategy, I guess, of it's called progressive overload, and it forces you to do your max. And it's a range between doing, I think, 10 to 12, right? So
Yes.
you would say, and this is a weightlifting strategy. If you're scared of the weight room, don't be. Everyone else is already in their own heads. They're not looking at you. But you would go and say, okay, listen, I'm going to put a dumbbell over my head.
Yes.
I'm going to grab a weight, right? So if you grab a weight, and let's say you grab 5 pounds, and you're like, oh, I could do this all day. The weight's too low. So go up to the weight where you say, I could probably only do 10 to 12 of these. That is your current max, right?
That is where you're currently maxing out at.
Right. So you would do 3 sets between 10 and 12. And if you want to look into the science of why that's the magic ratio there, there's a reason for it. It's the most you can do to tear down the muscle fibers while still being able to repair it, right? So you could do the heaviest thing you've ever done once. That's not it. Or you can do the lightest thing 1,000 times, and that also isn't. So they've studied that 3 sets of 10 to 12 reps is the
Yeah.
sweet spot.
If you lifted the 5 pound dumbbell, you will see progress very, very slowly over a long period of time because you are still putting your muscles through work. The progressive overload is my mindset is if I'm going to be at the gym, I need it to work for me because I don't want to be here. So the progressive overload is my goal is to get 8, and I know I can get 8. I will be super happy if I get 10 good looking reps. If I fail on number 12, I have found my weight I need to be at. So, what it is, you will get stronger faster because you are putting your muscles under so much tension. They're tearing down so much faster. But that also was coupled with something that me and Heather are working on. You have
Protein.
to have a high protein intake.
So you can go to the gym and lift a ton of heavy weights, and you'll probably be pretty strong, but you probably won't show muscular growth
Yeah.
as effectively as if you do this progressive overload approach and a high protein. If you honestly sat down and did the math of the amount of protein you need to consume a day, you're going to be floored by how little protein you're actually getting. It is hard to get enough protein in the valuable type of protein. You could say, well, I'll just drink a protein shake all day, but now you're missing the other nutrients. But protein shakes are a great way to get there.
It's
But
just
oh
second.
my goodness.
They do the just a easy way to do it, Nate said, is a gram per pound of you. So if you weigh 150, you need to try to aim for 150 grams of protein daily.
Okay, so here's my twin dress that's marrying with my twin like TikTok. I saw this guy and he's like, you can go to Chick-fil-A and ask for 30 grilled nuggets and they'll just give it to you in a big bucket. I mean, it was like this big, like the size of my
Yeah, a
head.
little
But
jar bucket thing.
I did it yesterday. I even said to Lydia, I saw this on TikTok. Please don't judge me. And she like grabs her walkie-talkie and she's like, we got a 30-count grill, a 30-count grill. Like I was like, oh, it's that intense. She's like, no, we just want to make sure it's ready for you when you get up there. But that, and I Googled it, is 100 grams of protein. That's a
But the
lot
thing
of
is, you have
protein.
to consume it.
I did a fitness
Is
competition when I was 24,
she
and
did. I witnessed it. I was there
yeah,
for it. I
Corey went to
cheered.
the
Yeah, I
competition. It
did.
was a wild experience. But I did have a personal trainer for this competition. He was remote, right? We'd call every week. And I told him, like, hey, I'm trying to eat the protein. I just can't. So, like, I hope that's okay. I'm not meeting the protein goal. And he's like, oh, yeah, actually, we have a great strategy around this. If you can't meet your protein goal, he's like, sit down and open your mouth and eat the next bite. That's the goal. You need to eat, you have to meet this protein goal if you're going to put any kind of muscular. So I see, like, I'll be honest, I have gone to the gym for a lot of years and I don't see a ton of progress. And it's because I don't eat enough protein. It
Oh,
is so hard.
I don't like necessarily give me a good steak, but you can't have steak every day, especially with the price of steak being so high. So my husband will always eat protein at least in 2 meals. So he eats 4 eggs in the morning, and then either chicken or steak or pork at night. So the man's getting a lot of protein, but I think he weighs in at 256. So he's still not even getting enough that he's supposed to get.
Can I just say eating not dessert is boring?
Not dessert stuff is boring. Not ravioli is
Boring.
boring.
It like
Boring.
almost makes eating like a job. But you
But
give
I
me a
did.
candy and I'll eat the whole bag.
Oh yeah, I found a protein shake. Granted, it's not. It's missing some of the other stuff. It's the only way I can get it down my gullet, to be quite honest. If I'm trying to do this protein, 50 grams in there. Plus, it had 2 eggs, which is roughly 6 grams each. So right now, I'm sitting at 62.
Last week I went to Walmart. I don't like to cook or bake or anything. So anything that's pretty easy breezy. But there's this protein bread. It has a guy's name on it.
Protein bread.
Yeah, I mean it's
If you're gonna eat bread, let it have some protein in it.
but you know it's like a guy's name. I wonder if
I know. Is it them? And it says honk if you pass him on the road.
yeah, a guy's name bread company. Let me just see because it's always Dave's Killer Bread.
Yeah, it tastes good.
Dave's Killer Bread. So I go to the day, which okay, bread is usually kind of this is just it's basically seeds that happen to have some bread connecting them.
Yeah.
Okay, healthy, whatever. And I think it has some protein in it because of the seeds. And then I get the sliced deli meat.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
add
Well,
in 2 pieces of cheese, which also contains some protein, but at least it like
it
goes
does.
down better. And then I did, and this is the cheaty thing, coleslaw, delectable, found at the Walmart like
You
pre-prepped
got
section.
Walmart coleslaw? I
You'll
probably
try
only like
Walmart
KFC or Popeyes
quick,
coleslaw.
word for word. It's the exact same taste.
Really?
Yeah, but it came
Some
in like a
coleslaws are
giant
really
bucket
weird.
of it. Yeah,
What makes coleslaw taste good?
I
What's in
think it's
there?
mayo.
Ranch?
Yeah,
Mayo?
I think it's a lot of like delectable stuff. So, but
Delectable.
anyways, I put that on the sandwich so at least it can like have some.
Oh, it needed some moisture.
It
That's why I
needed
said
some
it's got to have a
moisture.
little moisture in there.
Like just if someone said, "Okay, eat 10 boiled eggs," I would be gagging by egg 4.
Scrambled eggs are delicious.
Scrambled eggs are great. You know, you can get the pre-peeled and pre-boiled eggs from Walmart in a bag of 6. It's like
They
pretty cost
don't
effective.
taste as great as
Of
a
course,
home boiled egg.
a home birth egg is going to taste better, but this one, if you're lazy and you just got to meet
Yes.
numbers.
Yeah.
So, anyways, I went to the gym yesterday and I was thinking about protein today. So that was my twin intellect as a progressive overload married with
The right
protein
protein
intake.
intake. Yeah. So that's what I told Nate. Nate, what now? Nate's like, are you locked in? Because I said, Nate, I'm trying to lock in at the gym here. So now if I don't try hard enough on a set, he's like, doesn't seem like you're locked in. And I'm like, no, I'm locked in. I'm locked in. Ah!
It's hard to drive to a place to intentionally injure yourself
I know.
and then to be injured the next few days in the pain of repair. And then to eat nasty food on top of that. And I don't know, I shouldn't even complain about the food. It's probably great. It's just not ravioli and fried
It's
cheese
not
baked
ravioli.
ziti from Olive
Yeah.
Garden.
And my protein intake before tracking it, all time low. Negligible.
Because anything that's delectable doesn't have protein in it. It
It
has
doesn't.
carbs and calories, and
It
I love
it
them.
does.
Give me
But you could
that.
have what with something that's an Italian and has chicken on there. It is fried chicken, but it's like sitting on a bed of
Let me tell you, you
fettuccine.
can go to Olive Garden and ask anything to be grilled. Oh,
Yeah.
chicken Alfredo. I don't think that's breaded. I think it's grilled. It's
Oh yeah,
smothered
chicken
in sauce,
Alfredo.
but you're gonna still
But
get your.
if you get a little protein on your noodles,
I'm
I
just
want to say
saying,
cheese ravioli has zero protein minus
cheese,
whatever
cheese.
the cheese has.
In my mind, I don't really like restrictive diets of not eating, but I want to say you can restrict yourself by eating enough protein. You're not going to really necessarily want to eat anything else. But I'm like, hey, if I go to the gym and I eat the protein, I'm not going to count my calories. I'm going to have that dessert. You best believe it.
You live once and
You
you
live
gotta
one.
live with a little sugar,
If you
a
guys
little
wanted another
sweet
approach,
treat.
that fitness guy I paid money for, he was like on Fridays at 5, there are no rules. Eat whatever you want as much as you want.
And he said, because,
You can only really eat so much before you're full, but having that respite, that free space gives you something to shoot for. So if I do good all week, I can, and then just being able to think, like to build up the dopamine to be like on Friday,
oh
here's what I'm going to
yeah, to
eat.
be like, ooh, what can I
Ugh,
eat? People don't do well where it's all or nothing. They do well where it's
no.
all and something. So having a goal at the end of the week means you're going to be able to talk yourself out of that, starburst midweek because you're working towards Friday because you earned it.
And it feels well, I mean, obviously you feel better, although you may not want to eat the nice food, the healthy food. But then on Friday, you get that little free space. Ah, so good. And
I
it tastes
know.
better because you earned it, because you're
As
dopamine.
me and Heather move into our 40s, fitness and moving has become top of mind because our grandmother is turning 87, but she walks 5 miles plus a day.
3 miles.
I thought it was five.
No, I did 5. I did 5.
You
They
did it
did,
for
they
two
did
days, you
3.
big old boob.
I did. You
But
know,
she,
my car was gone for that 4 months. I put some steps on this counter,
some
buddy.
rhythm, but it shows our grandmother is so mobile because she is put in the work at a young age into her older age
Well, someone
that
said walking is the best form of exercise. You know, okay, it'd be great if we could all do weightlifting and run 20 miles. I
sure.
can't run at all. But running, you have bad knees. Weightlifting, my dad can hardly, he has to have hand surgery, his second one, because he's weightlifted his whole life and now it's cost him. But they were like, walking is a low impact, consistent time and way to just
Yeah.
increase your health. So my Ruth Ann grandmother, never lifted a single weight, never seen a
No.
diet in her life. However, she has walked almost every day, 3 miles for 30 or 40 years at this point. And she said, that's the reason I'm not in a wheelchair. That's the reason I could, the woman, you can't stop her. She's running around all
No. Yeah. She's out and about going. Her lab's coming back pretty good. I mean, you got some things that
She has
just
high blood
kept up
pressure,
with
and
it.
that's anxiety. So I told her,
Yeah.
what do you want us to do? She has a
So
terrible diet, actually. I've never
she has
seen someone.
a horrendous diet.
Yeah, she doesn't
I've
eat a lot,
watched
but she
her.
only goes to fast food and M&Ms. But like you would just say, people look at her and they're like, "There's no way you're 86," and she's like, "It's because I just walked."
I know. I know. And that's granted, sometimes I will say walks are hard because you're like, oh, it's cold outside, you
But
know.
walks are, I mean, with the spring coming.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Sure. I
You
like
put on this little
tracking.
podcast.
Tracking my walks has helped me keep and want to better myself from last year.
Very nice. Okay, well, that's a podcast, guys. If you go on a walk, please take us with you. We'll do a SWOT analysis together. And if not, I'll see you at the gym.
All right, guys. Thank you for tuning in. We will see you next week, if not within the group a little sooner.
We will be bugging you. You will see us.
You will see us. You will see us.
Okay, goodbye, twin.